Lone Wolf says thoughts on the FF cast choices. It's funny you mentioned that because that's our next topic.
Segway.
Yeah. Marvel reveals Fantastic Four cast in a Valentine's the artwork here. By the way, I want to say this artwork's kind of cool. It's very throwback to me. Somebody was saying, is this AI, when the artist literally was like posting on Twitter that he's happy about like making it. So I thought it was kind of funny. So let's take a look at our casting. I'm going to get everybody's names here. So we have Pedro Pascal playing Reed Richards. Thoughts on that? First, let's go through each one of these. Thoughts on him playing Reed Richards?
I like Pedro Pascal. I just don't think he's a good casting. I think it's a whatever cast. I think it's, you know what it is? I think it's a safe casting. Okay. I think they know he's probably not the best match for the character, but it's like he can do the job.
Well, you know what? I was just thinking when you said that they know he's not going to fuck up, right? They're like, this is a guy who is a team player. He's going to come in, he's going to do the job, he's going to knock it out however he does, and he's not going to cause any trouble. They're going to be in another Earth in the 60s, I think, is where they're going to start at.
Well, that makes sense. I don't know how you can make them in the same Earth as Iron Man and all that, and they were, I guess, like a proper thing that were doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like it would make no sense. So I guess it has to be.
That's the rumor. If anybody else has heard any other rumors in the chat, feel free to drop it. We'll pull it up on screen.
I also did see a theory that people think this is going to be a one movie thing for them, and then they don't exist. I'm like, no, they wouldn't make a big deal about it.
So the next is Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm. Thoughts?
Good. The only issue with her is that, like, it's not really her. It's more she's inconsistent. She picks inconsistent movies. So I'm like, which one is this going to be? Is this going to be a good movie for her or a bad movie? She's either in a pretty damn good movie or a pretty fucking damn bad movie. It's one of the two with her. So but in regards to her being Sue Storm, I think she fits it. So no real complaints there.
Ebon Moss Backrack, is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Backrack or Backrack or something like that.
Yeah. Is going to be playing the Thing, right? Yeah, Ben Grimm. So thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think both of them, it's pretty fitting they put them in the same paragraph because I think they're the two like clear thumbs ups. I think
those are the two castings out of the four where you're like, I get it. It makes sense. Right?
Yeah, I think that, and also he's going to be a rock monster for like 80% of the movie. Like I don't even know if because I think they also said that they're not going to dive too deep into the origin. So even if we see him in his human form, is it like a flashback or like archival footage or something? I don't even know.
Yeah. Or I'm hoping because of the storyline that the Thing gets in the comics that he can't shift back and forth like the Hulk, because there is a period in the comics where he can do that, but he can only do it for like
I don't think they'd do
one,
that. I think
1 week a year or something like that. It's really weird.
Yeah, I think that wouldn't be the best way to do it.
So here's the thing, Cody. Yes. So that's another thing I saw, and I'm glad you brought this up. So one of the things is, with the exception of Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, it seems like the other three characters, the casting is very comic booky in terms of like not only the way they look, but some of the backstory they're going to be doing. And so him being Jewish as an actor playing a Jewish character seems to be something that people are pretty happy about. I will say this, with the exception again of Pedro, I think a lot of people expected them to do like a big diversity cast for Fantastic Four. I'm excited because it seems to me like they, with the exception of Pedro, which I think, again, we'll talk more about that in a moment. With the exception of Pedro, I think they really thought about all of these castings and how it's going to work out in the movies long term. Because think about it, if they were just doing a one and done movie, they could have pretty much done anything they wanted. They could have made it super out there. But it seems like they're trying to keep it very in the center of what the Fantastic Four is. And then we have Joseph Quinn from Stranger Things, who is playing Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. Thoughts on this?
I think this is the worst casting out of the bunch.
Okay, tell me. I'm curious. I was waiting for it. So tell me why. What do you think?
I remember when the rumors were out, like whenever, like over the past few months, I'm like, surely not. And my main thing is like, I don't like, I've read like some of the stuff that involves the Fantastic Four, but I haven't read like multiple things. Like, as I said, I didn't know too much about how the Judaism played into Ben Grimm, because like, you know, it's obviously not going to, if you haven't read everything, you're not going to know too much about it. But one thing that I always knew about Human Torch, and look, specifically Johnny Storm, is that it's almost meant to be like he's in a boy band or he's like a Calvin Klein model. It's like, it's almost like a dude would go, fuck, that dude's handsome. Like when you walk, you go, holy shit, that dude's handsome.
And you don't see that for Quinn? Like you don't see
that?
No,
I don't even think it's like, I don't even think
so you're like, you think like Pretty Boy basically is what
it's
you're
like Pretty boy band, like Calvin, like that type of thing where you go back and like you double take and go, holy shit, like when you walk past them, whether you're gay, straight, or whatever the fuck in between.
Right.
Like I don't know, like who's Like, I don't know who was a pretty boy in the 60s. Marlon Brando, I guess, was, I think, in the 60s. But even then, I don't know, like, who was a pretty boy in the 60s? Because I guess that would be your
there was
thing you
the
do.
equivalent would be like, I guess, like the Beatles and stuff. You know what I mean? Like those guys. And Elvis Presley's number one. So there you go. I mean,
well, I knew Elvis would be at the top because around that time period and stuff.
So you're saying that you don't think that Joseph Quinn like could embody like this
as he
vibe?
looks now? No, but maybe it's his hair. Like, he's also got like, you know, like odd eyes, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not conventional, like attractive eyes, if that makes sense. I know how you would terminal it, like you'd
like come fuck me eyes. Like, that's a term I've heard. Like come.
No,
fuck
it's
me
like
eyes, basically.
Like I'm in an alley, run away eyes, like that sort of thing going on.
Wait, no, wait. You're saying that that's the eyes he has, or the ones he needs to have? Which one are you saying?
No, those are the ones he sort of has, so he needs to sort of revert it. So,
oh,
like,
so
if you
you're
walk
saying
down an alley and his eyes are wide open, you sort of run.
Okay, I get what you're saying. So this is a picture of him that I think could be like, oh, this is maybe what he looks like as Johnny Storm. Do you see it?
Well, they're going to dye because in the. Well, I don't see it, not at all. But like, they're going to change his hair.
Chat,
and stuff
do you
like
see
that.
it? Do you see
I don't
it?
see.
Is this Johnny Storm for you? Chat, thumbs up if it's Johnny Storm, thumbs down if it's not. I'm very curious if people see it or not. I think that he could probably pull it off. I'm not convinced 100%, but
I think he, like, acting wise, I think he'd be fine to pull it off. Like, and the only thing I've seen him in is Stranger Things, because all of his stuff is coming up, like Quiet Place and Gladiator. So that, like, I don't know if he's been anything else, it must have been small that I didn't.
So you think acting wise he can do it? It's just the look.
Oh,
that
at least based
like...
off Stranger Things. I thought he was good in Stranger Things, but it was also like very like. It was also like a role where he was like made to overact, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like, it was a very like energetic role, and sure, Johnny Storm is sort of meant to be that, like a bit like, you know, very energetic. But it's also like looks help in regards to it. Like, I know the Dacre Montgomery casting was probably one of the better ones.
Mm.
I don't even know if I don't even know if he was up for it. Funnily enough, they're both from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Acting wise, I think it'd be fine. It's the same across the board, even with.
I don't know. I'm not too bothered by this. I think maybe he could do it. I think he could.
It's just. Funnily enough, actually, he looks like Robert Downey Jr. when he was younger. Like, if he changed his hair a bit, he actually sort of has a Robert Downey Jr. sort of look to him.
You're not
but
lying.
You wouldn't probably cast like, yeah. But it'll be interesting. That's the whole thing. Like, someone can be from the outside looking in, be a miscast.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think that Chris Evans was a good casting for Johnny Storm back in the day?
Yes. I think, but I think, well, actually, Michael B. Jordan, but he played, I think that was more the directing. Like, that whole movie was very, like, somber and toned down.
Look, I'm going to be honest. He was the best part of the movie.
He wasn't, he was the best part, but he also wasn't even allowed to be, like, proper Johnny Storm at the same time because of the tone of the movie. But Chris Evans was allowed to be, like, pure Johnny Storm because he was allowed to just be, because of the tone of those movies as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably the issue with, I think, this entire roster. They're going to be compared to those 2000s movies. So it's already started, but even when the movie comes out,
mm-hmm.